So, like, you know, that's not too bad for a coach, honestly. He's doing his job. There's players who put up those numbers. There's active players who put up worse numbers than that. So, look, we'll see. On HLTV, it says Masty's playing, who's been the guy who's playing. It says Nuka on the lineup that we have. So, I don't know if it's the same guy or not. Raiding into the server, we see Nuka. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? How about you cast this pistol around, and I'm going to do some detective work to see if it's the same guy or not.
All right, you do some detective work. But as far as the pistol round is concerned, not really a whole lot to comment on so far. Yami just going to try and bully his way into Cheetah somewhat. Rest of ATOX are going to set themselves up default while there's a bit of a filter on their way in toward middle. G getting the opportunity with the USP a couple of times, but eventually will be pushed off. Knows that there's a P250 on the other side of it, so doesn't want to be playing too dangerously.
And MyQ punishing that aggression. Man advantage for ATOX. And indeed, Nuka is Masty. Same guy, same name. IRL name, that is. Just different in-game alias. So, one of these guys that's changed his name has been playing for a number of years, or rather inactive for a number of years. But thrown back into the server for this tournament is definitely an interesting one. In comes this A hit though. Jam Young and Mercury to defend. Boosted up top. Nuka gonna get his head taken off. Flynn trying to follow him up in through A main. Those players on A main really haven't made too much space, and unfortunately the rest of TYLOO are now flooding into the site with a really nicely timed flash. Yami gonna peg one back. Him and KABAL trying to fight their way out of mid, and Donut with the bomb dropped on long is gonna be difficult.
Most definitely. Yami creeping his way forward. Has a bit of space there, but Mercury will just drop him. And KABAL unable to have any impact in this round so far with the P250. I mean, if you're going to be given that gun on the pistol, you better be good for at least one. And unfortunately, hasn't been given that chance, and his head's going to be popped off by Jam Young, who's looking pretty crispy to start the day. There was a couple of nice kills from him onto A Long earlier on. I've got some information coming through as well from my sources. Shout out to Uski. He says Nuka's old 1.6 guy played on the Mongols in 2015, and he's the assistant coach of ATOX.
Cool. Okay.
So we've got the coach, the assistant coach, and then the core three playing today for ATOX, which I don't know. Is that better than having like a random stand-in sub kind of situation? Maybe, maybe not. I guess we'll see how good these guys are in the server, but at least they'll know the system and understand the setups and whatnot.
They're not playing horribly. Like, they're getting 0.92 and 0.94, and like overall last 3 months. And they, as the coach and the assistant coach, should understand the system that ATOX plays in and the players that they're trying to replace. You can't really replace the ALPA, unfortunately, but like they should understand the general structure, and maybe that can help them get up to speed a little bit. Flynn gonna drop Yami a Galil here, and he's gonna buy up armor, so maybe, interestingly enough, we are gonna get some of these coach tactics. I don't know if you remember the old like Zeus dropping guns and buying Mag 7s when he had to stand in at the major, but that's the kind of vibe I get from like a little drop in round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to do it, dropping it over to Yami is probably the call here for ATOX. Like, this guy is the young, up-and-coming kind of quote-unquote star player that's, you know, touted in Mongolia and even in Asia as being someone of potential relevance going into the future. So, if anyone's going to be able to get it done, in theory, it's supposed to be him. MIQ, good for one with the Glock, but that's about all that he can do. You know, and again, like KABAL, and obviously, especially in the case of KABAL, like he's one of those guys that's getting into the veterancy of his career. I think he still frags pretty well, but want to be really looking at Yami as the firepower of this roster going forward. And it was, I thought, a nice little blend with, you know, the old and the new with Dobu, KABAL there, and then MIQ kind of in the middle as that glue figure, and obviously at one point Yami and Annihilation as the two sort of star firepower kind of kids that come through and frag really hard. I thought that was a good setup for ATOX, but now you've only got Yami. You obviously lose Annihilation. Like you said, it's difficult to replace the AWPer. I mean, there's a world where Yami actually ends up AWPing. He did do a little bit of that in previous teams, but where does that extra firepower come from? You know, does KABAL kind of wind it back, or MIQ, is he going to be able to do something, you know, above and beyond what we normally see from him? Because you have to imagine it's not going to come from Nuka and Flynn.
Yeah. The thing is, for ATOX, I feel like there's so many potential options. Like, I know we're here and now watching them play on LAN, you know, with their coaches and all that stuff. But like, look, Dobu's going to come back. They need one player, right, in all part. Well, I guess, yeah, they only need one player, right? So, I don't know. I feel like it's probably accuracy or score, right? Like, who else are you really going to get?
Bring accuracy back into the fold. I don't know. Either way, ATOX this time looking pretty good as they bully their way into B lane. It is more of a save round from TYLOO than anything else, so a couple of MP9s working to try and control the bomb sites, but that's not really going to help them out too much. Starry's really going to have to be the one to get a bit of work done. G gets a nice clean timing onto Nuka, still loses his head, but Starry's decent for the trade, and now Jamyang is going to miss a timing onto the bomb site. It won't work out for him. Well, the taps here from Starry would do enough to get rid of Flynn, but end of the day, ATOX will win themselves their first round of the series.
Yeah, Flynn didn't manage to scavenge himself a gun at the end of things, which would have really helped them min-max the economy a bit. But yeah, MIQ and Yami have got to be doing some pretty big heavy lifting today, as does KABAL. Nuka's already not doing too badly. And like I said, like, ATOX playing with these two coaches they've actually been doing stuff, man. Like, they beat Lit Vision in the online portion, which is ridiculous. This force buy from TYLOO not looking too hot either. Only 2 rifles down to some pistols. Flash up over the top. Catches Jamyang. Full white MIQ and Yami opening things up. And I don't know, bro. We're kind of getting a game on our hands here a little bit, ATOX. They've been still a dangerous team playing with this many stand-ins, playing with coaches. And already early on in this game, they're not just rolling over and dying. They are playing seriously. There's good structure here. And shots are being hit.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe there was a bit of a conversation in that roster that, yeah, we can actually do it without Dobu, right? Like, that had to have been brought up at some point, right? Like, if the intention is actually to bring Dobu back, which everyone keeps telling me is the case, then ATOX and Dobu and the rest of the team must have sat down and said, like, what is this actually going to impact? If you go and play the RMR with Alter Ego, what does that mean for us? You know, do we potentially miss out on Pro League? Do we potentially miss out on this and that? Well, I mean, maybe no, ATOX have decided that they think they can still make it happen without Dobu.
There's no way. I totally disagree with that. I think, like, we'll see what Moses is going to do here with the D, but there's no
like,
team.
how, though? Like, how do they make that? How do they justify that, then, if not?
They
you know
don't justify it. It's literally just Dobu saying, I'm going to do this. And there's, like, the team would never agree to that. There's no world where the team would agree to that. Like, he just says, I'm going to do this, and then they have to make do with whatever they can. If they could get an emergency sub in here, they would, but they can't. There's roster restrictions, I'm assuming. So they're playing with 2 coaches. And the fact that they're this competitive with 2 coaches is incredible. Like, and also, like, their star AWPer going out of the roster should be a reason enough to get absolutely rolled by Vision or TYLOO, right? But not only their star AWPer, but also one of their core players for the longest time. Like, the heart of soul of their team right up there with KABAL. And they are still this competitive. It's ridiculous to me. Like, this is very, very cool that ATOX are making this work.
Well, let's not go too far ahead of ourselves. It's only round 4 of the series.
Yeah, but like, look at how this game is going. Like, they've got, look at this start to the T side. 3+K on most of these players. Now anti-eco into a full USP round. And then after this, TYLOO will be on a weaker pie. Like, 2K, they're all going to be like 4.5 to 5K. It's not going to be an AWP. It's going to be rifles and util. And like, you just look at the way that ATOX is playing right now, Jordan. Like, look at this structure. They have all their ducks in a row. They're working the map very nicely. The structure is still there, and that comes down, I think, to playing with these coaches instead of stand-ins. That tells me that the coaches are heavily involved in the team and understand the system.
Mm-hmm.
And still kind of actively play a bit of CS as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see the way that they're setting themselves up is to give Yami and MIQ the chance to have some success. Ace
from Yami.
Yeah. 10-2 right now.
It's anti-eco, but like, honestly, there is impact to having a young star player, Ace anti-eco, and just be bashing. Like, the things it does for the confidence and the momentum for a young player in the series, like especially one as individually skilled as Yami. If he starts feeling himself, it can be problems.
Well, let's just see a proper gun round out from TYLOO and see if that makes any change-ups in the narrative. MIQ very, very quick up through lane, and he's got Yami behind him, so they're kind of going to be, I think, the Smash Bros for this T side, working in tandem, while maybe Nuka, Flynn, and KABAL are on a little bit more of a supportive role, supportive duty.
Youth exchange in middle. Spam damage has come through onto Mercury. It's a two-man setup inside Cheetah here. They look like they want to aggress in the mid-round, TYLOO.
Mercury's only 40 HP. Yami could well get traded here if not even just taken down by Mosey. The crosshair placement was on point, but the shots didn't quite come through in time. It's going to be smoked off again. Now it's onto Starry, who spots out one, and he's aware MIQ is close by. Holds onto the spray for a little bit more damage, but still ends up going down 1 for 1. Jam Young going to be able to get his smoke down for a main, but he's going to have some problems still as Nuka will spot him around that smoke, and G is only able to go 1 for 1, so he can't bring the numbers back into favor on the A site. And again, it looks like TYLOO might be losing a round.
Yeah, and Nuka and Flynn, that's a frag each on the gun round. For these old heads, these coaches in the server against TYLOO. If you're having Yami and MIQ having a game like this, both of them are posting 100 ADR, good numbers, you know, fragging out. All you need is these old guys, just a kill or two on the gun rounds, like just a trade. Throw the right util at the right time, and there's a game there, you know? Like, they're both posting 0.92, 0.94, like, it's not terrible numbers. It's not good numbers, but it's not terrible numbers. It's doable, honestly. And the structure that ATOX is playing with right now, like, man, I don't know. Never foresaw a world where TYLOO could take a L here, but this is about as bad to a start to seek Decide Ancient as you can get. I saw an ult get purchased there for a sec. I just don't want to see it. I just want ATOX to play the 5 rifle. They're doing so well.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Right?
Like they're playing really free flow on this T side right now. I just feel like an AWP is just going to slow them down and put someone in a role they're not going to thrive in.
Sack time out there from TYLOO. Seems that the decision that they have come to is just going to be a little half buy on the players without the rifles. So we've got a 3.4k loss bonus, so there'll be enough money into the next round to buy for TYLOO. But they'll still give this one somewhat of a crack. Bunch of nades and util getting tossed in towards middle, and that is going to be Starry that has now got mid control. ATOX not really interested in it though.
Flash up over the top. HE onto Mosey, doesn't connect too much. Gonna aggress down B ramp with Starry here. Actually a boost up over the top. Catches a whiff of MIQ but can't quite make it work. Player with the armor gets spammed through the smoke. So now without armor, G, aim punch a real factor for him as he picks up the M4. Mercury continually playing these off angles in towards Cheetah, and Yami just never gives him that clean of a duel to be taking. That's one of them. Nuka trying to go for the trade here, and he's good for it, even though he takes significant damage. That's what was needed for him at that moment, and continually, these coaches, for the most part, winning duels that you want them to. Good trade on the nade from KABAL. And TYLOO re-aggressing into middle, but ATOX are a step ahead, making moves towards B.
Jam Young's found himself an AK. Again, look toward the save here for TYLOO.
The good thing about having the coaches in the server is you just have that very strong calling presence all of the time. Like Flynn and Nuka are going to be constantly calling what the overall approach is going to be in terms of macro. Like, I think that's why ATOX looks super well drilled right now, because these are the guys that spend all the time just watching the game, knowing how the flow of things is supposed to go and like where you should go at certain points in the round. And I really think that two players like that in the server at the same time, these guys are going to be really staying on top of like, oh, what should we be doing at a certain specific point in the round, and able to call it into real time. Whereas when you're sitting in the coaching slot, you just never get the opportunity to do that. KABAL on the hunt. Aim punch, not even a factor because G hits the first headshot. So he'll retain that rifle, drop it over. And finally, he hasn't really had much of an into this game, but he gets the AWP in his hands, and that could be where the difference starts.
Absolutely. I mean, think about how many times we've seen TYLOO struggling on the CT side. I don't think so much necessarily of Ancient. For me, it happens a lot on Inferno, where TYLOO were like just having these weird CT sides, and then G got the AWP, and it's like, oh, like this is a completely different team now. So I wonder if he can conjure some of that right here. He's holding over towards the A-bomb site, so not likely to have much of an input into this round as all the shenanigans are happening towards B lane at the moment, and it looks like it'll be a fast hit in towards B. Smoke's getting tossed over the top. Mercury, though, for a double. And no trade to come through just yet. He's got 3 somehow before being brought down by KABAL eventually. And even then, KABAL very nearly went down as well.
That was just bad timing, and a sharp Chinese rifle are set into the perfect position. ATOX going for the B execute bottom side of B route, and they just took slightly too long. TYLOO had that mid control. Jam Young sends in 2 players with a flash straight through Cheetah. Mercury is the first one through the door. Takes 3 and dinks KABAL before he goes down, and that's just a round then and there. KABAL trying to make a play here, heard by G. That's a very sharp shot to start things off, trying to keep this one costly. But Jam Young going to restore order here. Third for TYLOO. AWP not retained though. Oh, barely picked up at the last second there by Starry. So can be dropped back across to G. And although it didn't have any impact in the round, being able to play solo A and have such a presence and aggression towards B is fantastic. And already Mercury looks like he's in some good form here today.
All right, the rebuild begins. Money's actually not too bad for TYLOO right now. They'd want to be getting it into a little bit more of a comfortable territory. And certainly the round differential is a bit of a problem as well. ATOX working their way through the smoke. Yami just going to contact his way onto the ramp.
No respect. This man's in carry mode. Like you can tell. Just walk through that B ramp, smoke dry. Pressure on Cheetah. Here's the molly tickling the toes of Mercury. Flash up over the top from TYLOO, who were trying to shut out ATOX and slow them down working through the map, but now ATOX starting to make some moves.
It's a nice opener for Yami. As you say, working hard to try to get ATOX through this one. G's going to re-aggress in toward middle, but surely not going to be able to deal with 2. Maybe he does perfectly. I mean, KABAL fell off. Gave away the information. And it was Flynn that paid the price. MIQ with the AWP, unable to do too much in terms of bringing the numbers back over to ATOX's side.
Yeah, molly to B ramp. And in towards Cave. TYLOO really wanting to slow down this B execute, but it's going to come in nonetheless. Yami left solo in towards Cave. The rest of ATOX going up B ramp into this 2-man crossfire close. It's a bait setup. Will they check Mosey in the back of the site? It's traded well enough. Yami making his way through Cave. Smoke blown open, but G can't see a thing. Into the 2-on-2.
Jam Young creeping his way towards ramp, but MIQ is waiting for him and perfectly placed with the crosshair onto the head. Leaves G now solo. The deagle shot's not enough, and another round for ATOX.
Oh, bro. MIQ and Yami combining for 5. Perfect flash to set each other up in the 2-on-2. These guys are fist bumping TYLOO out of the server right now with just supportive work from the rest of the boys. That's how it feels. And right from the start, like, you can sense that Yami is in carry mode right now. He knows that this game falls down to him, and it's great to see such a young player step up to this level. He opens that round by just taking a one-on-one duel with Mercury and Cheetah. No
Gotta
fear.
do what we gotta do sometimes. Jang in middle. This time going to be helped out by Starry. Mercury holding forward as well. That's Yami out of the picture, so big man down, but you've still got MIQ to be concerned about.
He's trying to make a hero play of his own. straight up onto the B site. Spotted by Mosby, who's really just trying to bait for these players inside of Cave. Mercury, another player taking over the server right now. Dinks Flynn before going down, which could set up Mosey for the trade here. Indeed it does. Just down to Nuka. See what he can do. And he's surrounded by all of these CTs getting spammed on from all different sides. Young's heading up the flank here, all posted on the line. Nothing to do for him. TYLOO to pick up another round. ATOX in a weird spot economically. Flynn and KABAL starting to run out of money, but enough to be able to drop over some rifles. And I think that round is kind of a perfect example of it, Jordan, where unfortunately it feels like the rounds where MIQ and Yami are not multi-fragging are not rounds.
This is a bit of a change up from ATOX. Looks like it's just going to be W key straight into A. This will be where G gets tested for the first time properly with the AWP. Misses that shot. Jamyoung goes down quickly as a result, and it is ATOX into the site. Nice and clean. Bomb plant early on in the piece. Mosey goes flying through the smoke, but that's only good for one. And TYLOO's chances of a retake here are looking very difficult indeed. Add to that, KABAL is on a flank around behind, and it starts to be a little bit more difficult. But with those two openers, maybe TYLOO can get something done here. KABAL's been heard. The duel won't be won by Mercury, and that might just settle the score as ATOX are finding their kills one by one. 7-4. A quick round out from ATOX, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, it actually puts a lot of pressure on TYLOO's money here. Gonna rob one or two of these players of taking a rifle home. Good inroads being made by Starry and Mercury there, but not enough. MIQ and KABAL combining to lock that round down. G just missing way too much off the rip there. That comes down to a very, very close round, and he misses two shots to open it that were very doable, so... Oh, missed opportunity. Flashes going back and forth in middle, and MIQ unfortunately can't see a thing. Jamyoung making big moves all across middle, and it just has not started well for ATOX. This is where somebody has got to take over. G up close with the MAC-10. Checked well by Flynn. Great crosshair placement. And this might give it a chance to ATOX to get back in.
Making a bit of noise there. KABAL needs to win these duels. He'll get only the one. This will be where Flynn might need to activate, but Mosey was aware of him. So Nuka will find it tough from here, even to maybe get a bomb plant. He's going to go hunting for Mosey. Won't win that duel, and so 7-5 will be the scoreline at halftime. Not a bad start to the series for ATOX. Well, a fairly close first half, all things considered. Scoreline 7-5. ATOX getting the better of it, even though they are playing with a couple of stand-ins. TYLOO, I don't think really got going at any point in that first half.
No, had a tough time with the money and some big individual plays by MIQ and Yami, has to be said. A lot of really, really good rounds from them. ATOX playing with great structure, which you can do on the T side, playing with a couple of stand-ins, a couple of weak links. You can't hide weak links all the time on the CT side. And first of all, Nuka's going to be tested here on this A side. He's just playing retake. Crosshair placement is not great to be picking up heads as these Ts filter into the site. Just going to be tapping away and forced off the line. Does a little bit of chip damage. Just going to buy time for the rotates here.
Oh, he's definitely out of his depth a little bit there. You could tell the flash just getting him completely blind, and TYLOO get the freest kill of their lives on that opening pistol. Still, a 4-on-5 retake is not going to be impossible. Yami would need to clean up a couple and won't. That might start to shift the scales back in the favor of TYLOO. MIQ trying to bide his time. KABAL's the one running around making all the noise, but he's also managed to pick up the kill. Mercury hiding. Will actually land his shot. So too will Jamyoung. And TYLOO instantly have got themselves a pistol round win. And they've also got a bit of information as well that maybe it's going to be Nuka to try and hold on to that A site. So we'll see if they want to exploit that throughout this half.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Usually I would say, like, especially for active players, you know, you don't change how you play that much. I don't think that run an X player is necessarily a strategy that most serious attack FPS teams actually employ. But I think in this case, you know, there are just going to be gaps on the map. That's just as simple as you have to put it. Push down B ramp here with the USPs. Jamyoung lies in wait. TYLOO with several players ready to back him up. Flash up over the top, actually from the T side. G blinds 3. And TYLOO just going to mop everything up. So clean anti-eco there.
What was a good flash if you wanted to get 3 flashes onto your teammate?
Yeah. Three CTs flashed, and that's what shows in the flash assist, buddy.
Well,
don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
He got his.
He got his. All right. Gun round here for ATOX. It's actually going to be KABAL over towards the A side of the map this time. It's sort of funny that TYLOO have gone there initially on the gun round. It's worked out nicely. KABAL can't deal with 3 players at once, and Jamyoung's managed to grab MIQ up there on shelf. This is a bit of a train wreck, really, or a freight train almost. As TYLOO are going rampaging through this one. Although you've got Jamyoung and Mosey quite low. Oh, that's a great shot from G. Onto Flynn. Can Nuka conjure a miracle right here?
He's got a nice skin. Wow, souvenir night. That's not a cheap skin to be taken into a round like this. See if he can put it to work. Jamyoung and Mosey clinging to life. Barely. G's got to be the main man to get the majority of the heavy lifting done here, and he's going to be playing from that safe position over towards the big box. Molly,
I mean,
Mosey's
just jump spotting for info. They don't need to do anything unless he sees somebody.
Yeah, looks like Nuka's just going to save. But yeah, both him and Flynn, especially on some of these CT positions, the crosshair placement and the movement is looking a bit left desirable, I suppose.
Exploitable, shall we say?
I don't know. That's just a little bit too easy for G. And yeah, I think here on the T side, this is where TYLOO can start to take advantage a little bit. It was a good start. At 7-3, you had me as a believer, but now I'm starting to watch some more of these rounds, and I'm thinking, this might have been the MIQ Yami show for a little bit, but I don't think that's going to last for very long.
Mag 7 for KABAL. I know that we're going to be seeing too much out of that one if he's going to be holding A along with it. It is being taken in the meanwhile by TYLOO. Mercury doesn't walk through this unless he gets a flash. Then he does, and that's the end of Flynn. So, again, a good setup from TYLOO.
It's interesting to see Starry being the one to throw that flash. He was always the man walking into Red Room on Lin Vision. Now he is conceding the flashing for Mercury to walk into Red Room in this team. So maybe taking a bit more of a backseat in TYLOO, perhaps.
Fair enough, honestly. Mercury's a bit of a cracker.
They all are, bro. I feel like they could all play this role. Oh, this is getting more expensive than TYLOO would like, but I'm not getting too concerned just yet.
Well, if nothing else, a couple of AKs through the next round wouldn't be too bad for ATOX. They're going to have a look, though, see if they can get a retake going, which seems like wishful thinking at this point. Nuka being on 19 HP. They're going to opt to back off. G will hear it. And I dare say he's going to be able to catch MIQ right here. This could even be a knife in the back if he wants it, which unfortunately he doesn't get the chance. MIQ will spin around, but round again for TYLOO. And this T side, it's giving a much different vibe to the first half, for sure.
Yeah, not particularly close game so far on CT for ATOX. AK can get dropped over here and Nuka can buy an AWP. In fact, they can even think about going for a double AWP. He barely holds on to that. G almost took him out at the end there. Spotted his little backpack. Out comes the AWP for Flynn. So he'll be the one to pick it up for ATOX. Maybe filling that annihilation role. And playing his positions. Or will be taken over to that A side. Similar to what we saw from TYLOO. Util has been disrupted early on here for TYLOO, and they're going to be the ones to take mid control first. Peek out of Donut there from Yami, and he's going to find yet another opener for ATOX. Continuing to try to be the standout, but yeah, exactly right. Nuka, unfortunately, being a bit of a lick over here on B. MIQ's been isolated as well, and TYLOO just immediately pivots straight back to that other side of them. Well, I don't know what KABAL's going for there.
KABAL's kind of got the W key bug, I think, a little bit.
He's looking a little bit, yeah, a little bit how you going in this game as well, to be honest. The third coach in the server.
Yami's holding on to the AWP pretty nicely.
I mean, this is just familiar territory for Yami, though, isn't it? Like, isn't he used to just playing on a Mongolian team he has to hard carry?
I suppose. I don't know
It's
that
just
he was
like
doing
old times.
a great job of it in some of those previous teams, unfortunately, but...
Well, if nothing else, you'll say, wow, Yami did good.
I guess. You gotta take what you can get.
He's going to throw the AWP back over to Flip. Pick up a rifle. It's been a flawless T-side from TYLOO, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it was 7-5 at the half.
Mid take from TYLOO. Nate's blowing open the smokes there. It means that ATOX will find another opener in mid. This is where TYLOO very quickly turned things around, though.
Yep.
You to take that next tool. Oh, just can't win it over Mercury. This man's looking very sharp today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TYLOO might not around again. It's cheetah control, but not cave control. Mercury's still kind of floating around for the moment. Waiting for the rest of the forces to get into position. ATOX are going to be smoked in red room. So not going to be able to see too much. Flash goes up over the top. Jam Young to take the space that's being created. But Mercury is playing a dangerous game here, and he knows it. Very wise to the fact. Pop flash through. KABAL not ready for that one. And so that is going to be one of the two ATOX players found. Look at the movement from Mercury. Eventually does get brought down by Nuka, but he's drawn a lot of attention in that direction, and the rest of TYLOO are going to go towards A.
Hold on. Yami's here, though. He's going to drop a smoke. That's going to flush Jam Young forward, but that was the duel he needed to win, and he couldn't quite do it. Flynn getting flushed forward will actually pick up Mosey there can't quite get away though, and G's cutting the map in half. Another round where TYLOO just pivots in the mid round despite losing that opener. They win things pretty effortlessly, and that'll be their 6th in a row on this T side.
Very, very sharp shots in that round. Mercury, one of them. Jamyoung, this one was just insane as well. And a decent shot there as well from G onto Nuka. So, individuals starting to warm up for TYLOO, which might be a bad sign if you're a Mongolian fan going into map 2. We've got 3 Chinese teams on land. Bromo obviously now having been eliminated, I guess. Plus ATOX to round out the 4 teams. I honestly thought it was going to be 2 Mongolian teams, 2 Chinese teams, but it looks like maybe it's going to be a moot point, as we might just see both of the Chinese teams through to the grand finals the way things are going at the moment. Mosey able to catch Flynn in the back. Jamyoung's not even had to do too much in this round. More than happy to just sit at the bottom of the mid. Trust the rest of the lads to get the job done, and that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, Mercury just hitting more and more shots. Got very sharp. Yami getting backstabbed by Jamyoung. And Nuka, once again, just another round where he just hasn't got much of an opportunity to get involved. 12-7 for TYLOO. A flawless T side continues. And just nothing in this one for ATOX. 2 coaches in the server and they still haven't called a timeout.
No chance to call a timeout the way things are going right now. This is going to be a 13-7. Mosey wants that. He's going to go charging up into the side. Won't clear the corner, but the shot's clean from MIQ, and that'll be enough for TYLOO to trade down effectively. There was a window for sure for ATOX in that round, but it seems to have passed. Flint has crept his way into cave, but TYLOO are aware that that one is dirty, so Starry will go and clear it out, which leaves Young Yami 19 and 13. This would be a clutch for the ages if he could get it done right now against TYLOO, but smoked off on ramp. Long rotation to make. Good spam onto Jamyoung, but time is ticking away. He doesn't have a defuse kit, and this is impossible because he's got a bullet in his head, courtesy of Starry. That's 13-7 for TYLOO on map number 1. They are now 1 map away from making it to ESL Pro League Season 21.
Yeah, and they have been the team to beat all season long and continue to be so here on LAN. ATOX, rough situation that they've been put in. They've had a pretty good run.
And Cantonese are spoken languages, right? But the written language is not called Mandarin or Cantonese, right? It's like Pinyin or something, isn't it?
I have no idea, actually. Never even thought about that. I'm going to give you a chance to Google that, Jordan. And educate not only yourselves, but all of us here on the stream. Because I don't know how much more I'm really going to learn from watching ATOX play TYLOO with 2 standards, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. TYLOO spreading the map, playing things quite slowly. That's going to give you a lot of research time here, Jordan. So you just take your time there, mate. KABAL's ready with the Bentet flash for old mate MIQ. Inside of apps, Yami spotting out middle. Spots at least one player. You're getting the rotation across from Flynn to try to give him a little bit of support if possible. The window boost being attempted here by the TYLOO player. Starry underneath catches him unawares. And now ATOX, a man disadvantage. Got to try to make something else happen.
Yeah, Flynn looking for some headshots. Not landing any, though. And he's not actually being given too many more chances here. Mercury's just going to pop back up for another second, see if he can find that info. But if KABAL can't knock down this A site on his own, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to hold it. Jamyoung, though, does drop. We're back to the 3-on-3. And TYLOO's having some difficulty getting the bomb plant down. KABAL only good for the 1. The trade came through from G. Starry under pressure now. And Flynn actually gets the job done. Now onto G as a solo. And he's been spotted crossing over to triple, which probably has him dead to rights right now on 18 HP. G's going to have to some absolute crackers to get himself out of this sticky situation. He's waiting for ATOX to push into him, but it will not work out. And there's going to be ATOX to take the pistol round to start things off here on Mirage. And,
yeah, bomb plant though. So
true.
And a couple of kills as well for the boys. So this is almost certainly going to be a bit of a force buy up from TYLOO. And look, we'll see if ATOX continue in those winning ways. Have you learnt anything for us, Jordan?
Yeah, I think Pinyin is actually the name for when you write the Chinese language with the alphabet, like the English alphabet.
Okay.
I think.
see.
But I don't think that's the name of their alphabet or their written language, if that makes sense.
Well,
but I don't really know what I'm talking about.
No,
frankly.
That much is clear. But that's pretty well within your realm of comfort zone, to be fair, so that's alright.
True.
A-Execute comes out here for Mosey. He's just trying to throw a one-man fake. Here comes the B-Util as well. That has been replied with by a smoke here from Flynn, who's actually got another smoke on his person. Creeping up catwalk, unchecked though. KABAL caught off guard a little bit. MIQ trying to hold the cross. Flynn under a lot of pressure. Yami scaling into the site to help him from NBK, but he's caught in between a rock and a hard place. It's now got to be Yami to do the majority of the heavy lifting. He's completely surrounded at NBK. MIQ's trying to come in from market to give him some help, but that just hasn't worked out at all for ATOX, unfortunately. It's down to Nuka. And he's going to get his head banged off by Sari as well. He's seeing nothing but stars, unfortunately. And that's why I said you got to wait. You got to wait after the bomb plant to celebrate that ATOX pistol win, because exactly that can happen so quickly.
It's a pretty rough one for Yami there. You know, he's taken that sort of off angle on the short. You know that as soon as you miss those shots, you're pretty much doomed, right? Like the flood is going to come through onto the side, and there's just too many angles to cover off. So risky position doesn't pay off. And now ATOX are back down to just pistol and armor, and a bit of a traffic jam in the CT spawn. Is going to be a little bit late onto the A site. Not that that's going to be punished by TYLOO, who have set up more or less default. They're probably at this point wondering, you know, what are we going up against? Well, there's your info. KABAL with a 5-7 means that there's some degree of an investment from ATOX.
I mean, they should know after hard resetting the CTs that there will be a buy here. Yami's been ferried an 8k courtesy of KABAL, and he is the man who can win the round with it. Based on his performance in the last map, mid-con smoke blocked by MIQ. That gives him a little bit of a look into con here. He's not going to be given an opportunity by any of the T's, but this is where Yami has to go huge, and he can't. Unfortunately, gets caught in the side of the head and aim punched by G. And now it's just KABAL boosted up in a cheeky spot, trying to cling to site control, but that's not a good duel to be taking. Mosey's found one in the meanwhile, and I think Flynn and Nuka just going to try to save these upgraded pistols, if anything, because there's not really much of an inroads back into this round now.
Well, Flynn's going to make the jump onto short. And he's dropped a flash over to Nuka, but is he going to be flashed onto short? It looks like he has been, and that's the end of Flynn. So, fair enough. Nuka's probably going to go down here as well.
Yeah, instant headshot from Jam Young. TYLOO back to winning ways, swat away the force buy. It was, I mean, it had to be Yami there from Bricks, and it just wasn't. 2-1 for TYLOO, breaking the money on the CT side, now going into an anti-eco. 4 players surviving that round. This should be a pretty clean anti-eco as well, and then they're going to be up 3-1 with money behind them. It's one thing for ATOX to have some good rounds early on Ancient and front run a little bit, but now playing from pretty far behind on Mirage here. I don't know if it's going to be the same story as map 1.
Well, Jam Young's opened it up, and it's mid-control for TYLOO. They're going to be on their merry way over towards B. Not sure what KABAL's really going to be able to do about it. He's got a Zeus. Maybe one. Molotov is not in his position, but Starry will find him eventually. Didn't even get the chance to fire. So this is progressing so far pretty nicely.
Yeah, as expected for TYLOO. They know they're on the warpath here on the T side, home soil, just inches away from a spot at ESL Pro League. All they have to do is push over a couple of old men, and they're locked in. Flynn, and Nuka. Aforementioned old men trying to hold some exits into market. Can't quite get it done. Yummy. Last alive in round. Look, maybe. Might even catch one on the cross here. If they're a little bit lackadaisical, but they're not even crossing A. They're just all set up in spawn. Mosey would be the one to make a mistake, and he won't. So ATOX, first gun round here for them. Not going to be an AWP. Limited util. March would really not prefer the MP9. There's a lot of maps, Jordan, where I'd love to see MP9 full util in this kind of buy. Mirage ain't one of them.
No siree. Maybe if you're going to push into apartments or palace, but A ramp, I suppose you could make it work.
I mean, honestly, I don't hate it. Specifically against what TYLOO's doing. This is not a bad approach. And actually, all of that util is kind of disruptive what they wanted to do. And they're going to cancel their A execute. So, look, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, Jordan. TYLOO now.
Takes a big man to do that.
Thanks, yeah. And I am huge, especially after my holiday. There was a lot of eating.
Oh, no.
TYLOO, go back to B apartments. I think gonna start running a default a minute on the clock. It's an interesting one. See how it works out.
Well, they're starting to get that map control slowly but surely. Middle now, and looking for connector. Just going to end up being an A finish here by the looks of things for TYLOO. Putting a bit of pressure onto KABAL. And working their way up through connector. So a few things have to go wrong, and that's one of them. KABAL also catching Starry. It's all happening in the blink of an eye. Jamyoung's made noise. MP9. An easy kill for Nuka, and the MP9 is now a Galil.
Wow. MIQ just lines them up through the smoke, and Nuka, the MP9. Who could doubt it? The utility. I mean, he knew. He's an assistant coach, Jordan. He knew. I'd buy full util here. I'm going to disrupt the TYLOO A execute. That will force them to run a late default. Push them up connector late, and then that will be MIQ playing the off angle. Easy collat, round's done. You get the off angle in ladder room as well. It was all Nuka right from the start. Oh, missed chance for G. I don't know if I've seen G hit an AWP shot today, Jordan.
Oh, he's 1 HP.
Run, G. He's gotten away. Thank the Lords. Jamyoung. He's trying to pick those rotations from Palace, you know. Always on that lurk. Wonder if Nuka's going to be ready for that. That is, you know, pretty common thing. There is the aggressive lurk on the other side of the map. TYLOO just letting the boys cook. Saying, hey man, go find an entry somewhere. A lot of pressure on that B site from Starry there. But ATOX are pretty stalwart, not really rotating off of that pressure at all.
Jamyoung's looking to activate. Not being given anything just yet, but Mercury will spot MIQ, and that might start to prompt some kind of a response from Nuka shortly. He's going to have to start to get worried about connector. And there we go. Jamyoung spots him out. Goodbye, Nuka. A site taken. Bombs over towards B. KABAL's spotted or heard Mercury. The bomb's still going to be committed towards B. And if KABAL could, never mind, find a way to activate, then he could have done something there. But 4-2. And TYLOO negotiate that round with relative ease. Money's getting a bit problematic, let's say, for ATOX, and so far it's look, it's been a bit of a slower start to this game, but I think we're getting more of the same, which is TYLOO starting to kind of kick themselves into gear.
Yes sir. Getting a force buy from Yami here, but then he saves. Nuka's getting himself a hero rifle. Yeah, Yami hasn't really done too much this game. Aggression onto middle. Mercury creeping around the smoke, set up by the flash from G. Doesn't see a single thing around the smoke. Does not know what lies in wait on the other side of it. Pitter-pattering around. Footsteps can be heard by MIQ, but he's got a sixth sense.
Whoa.
Here comes Nuka. Swing up top mid, but G ready to trade. So could have gotten a little bit spicy for a second.
You can't be too critical of G there with the ult, mate. He's hit one.
Whoa!
He's hit one
He's
for
hitting
you.
shots.
That first one
Look
was
at
a
him.
tough one, so let's just give him
true.
some slack.
Against the pistol, this man's a AWP eco-fragger.
Better than nothing.
Double smoke to window. No one's looking through the window today. Oh dear. Has that not been hurt? Alright, KABAL's in Palace. My king. What can he do? Oh, he's hiding his sick tats with the uniform sleeves. That's not cool.
Isn't that a thing in China?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Might be. Would it be? Don't a bunch of the Chinese players have tats too?
I'm not sure. Maybe you know what? Maybe it's down to the TO, because I know I've done some work in China where players that have had tats have covered.
Okay.
But I couldn't say for sure whether it's down to China, which doesn't make sense to me because you're right. I know a lot of Chinese people that have tats, or if it was just down to maybe a TO preference. I think it might have been a TO preference.
Interesting. All right. Another gun round here. Double AWPs come out. Yami's yet to get on the board, and his transition to an AWP. He's been long awaited. Both him and MIQ going to be picking up the stick. Starry continues to feel the need to bully old men on the B side, lurking. A Jam Young. The same can be said. These guys are just playing a 1-3-1 the whole round because they know there is someone I can kill on this side of the map. Jam Young's trying to bully Nuka. Starry. He's just waiting for Flynn. You can smell him. He knows. I can get this entry onto beat. I've done it so many times. There's the mid pressure coming out. Trying to pull that rotation across to short. And the rest of TYLOO going to go link up with him, actually. This is going to turn into a short split.
Oh, it's a rough one to miss. Molotov.
Yami's game, has it?
Position. No. Used it up all on Ancient.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the meanwhile, Mosey's actually crept his way into jungle. This is going to be really problematic for ATOX if he gets in behind in market. But he's going to have to do it quickly. That's a decent start onto MIQ, but under a bit of pressure right now. Wants to go back over towards A. Does get the info that Nuka is in jungle. Volley from Jam Young. And he does just win the fight. That would have been the fight that would have maybe won the round for ATOX. In the end, it's actually going to swing back in the favor of TYLOO. G's caught KABAL on the rotate. Yami in for the 1-on-2, and I surely don't expect Jam Young boosted up on the box solo. Jam Young had no idea where Yami was coming from, though, so gets the timing wrong. And G was last seen in Connector, so this might be a world where Yami could get something done. Both missing their shots, but that's favorable enough for G as long as he can buy some time. Pulls out the Tech 9. Yami! Can't land his shots with the USB, and G had a head armor anyway, so 6-2, and TYLOO get one more.
It's a good try. And T. That was another pivot round from TYLOO, though. Nuka, he always won that. If he catches Jam Young top stairs there and polishes that one off, then that could have been a round for ATOX. Tack timeout. I'm surprised they didn't use their timeouts on Ancient. Like I said, you got so many coaches that could call one. I guess either not really believing in themselves, or the coaches felt like they already had the input in the server and had nothing more to say.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I mean, a lot of the time, coaches obviously in that sort of third eye position, right, where they can see every POV and they can kind of get an understanding of maybe what's happening a little bit more so than each individual. So there may be some elements of that that aren't actually able to be put into play at the moment for ATOX.
Yeah. But on top of that, it's like you're already saying what you were going to say in the timeout.
Yeah.
While you're live kind of thing, so... That's sort of a mental reset sometimes, unless you've got that extra idea. That's what kind of, honestly, ATOX need to be doing, really, to try and win this game. It's got to be disruptive pushes from MIQ, KABAL, or Yami. AK recovered now, flashes up over the top. MIQ continuing to pressure, continuing to deliver. Flushed out by the Molotov. Oh, this is where Nuka actually getting a kill with a USP, no armor from Triple. Might be the difference maker that they need, but Yami unarmored with a max 7 running around like that. I don't think he's going to get too much done. Somehow he's made it into connector. Flynn's gone down in the meanwhile. And Moses is going to peg a couple nades at him.
Yeah,
Get
Moses
away
just...
from me with that thing.
If he's got an AK, there's no way he's throwing the nade like that, but he's got a max 7. What's he going to do?
Can't do anything. He's going to save it, Jordan.
Yeah, well...
Wait.
No, okay, so the element of advantage here for Yami is that if he needs to blow open the smoke, the Mag 7 is better for that, but...
Oh, true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's why you buy it.
Yeah.
Probably the first thing that would come to my head. But wouldn't you just buy an XM at that point?
Yeah, probably.
Well, Orbs out for Flynn. And, yeah... I don't know what to tell you guys other than TYLOO have won 16 T-side rounds to 2 CT rounds for ATOX this series. That kind of tells you the T-side prowess versus a team that can't hold everything on the map apparently. Yami, oh, he just really has not had a good game here. After a belter on Ancient, that leaves everything on the shoulders of Flynn with an AWP. He's getting utiled off the line and he's got Chinese riflers swinging him from every angle. God help this man. That's it.
What are you gonna do? It's like
you can do.
It's like one of those jump scares.
He should have just legged it to market and started saving. Honestly,
I don't know if he would have made it to market.
Oh man, that's rough. I mean, yeah, Yami's the one who needed to deliver there. It ain't even on Flim, if you ask me. He had to get his one. Like, MRQ's at least been getting his ones, you know? Like, he went in Palace last round. He got his ones. He's been the consistent one for ATOX. There you go. This man's here to play today. Oh, it's just perfect crosshair placement. Love to see it. Big fan.
Well, 8-2. What do you really say about a half like this one for ATOX? Hopefully the T side's going to be a little bit better. They were better on the T side on Ancient. Definitely have had a lot of troubles on the CT side though in this matchup.
Back to the A execute for TYLOO. Just a bit of smoke to top mid to try to bait out some util, limit the information. Nuka playing up close with the MP9 again. KABAL to help him out with a 5-7. Nicely timed smoke here for Nuka. KABAL's found Jam Young up inside Palace. Hold on. This A execute ain't got no legs. TYLOO turned away back to spawn. Gonna have to find a different avenue back into the round, and after holding throwing a couple of rifles over to the CT side here.
Definitely not unsalvageable for TYLOO. I mean, Starry's 11-4 right now. G's 9-4. They're doing all right for themselves. MIQ going to give up one of the kills that's going to be required to equalize, and then almost another one from Nuka. What's going on here? What? They just keep peeking G. KABAL's going to go down. Molly in the window. And all of a sudden, it's back to 3-on-3. Flynn with that 5-7 needs to land a headshot. He can't. Now his position's given away. Yami's going to peek off the contact, but they're into connector. It's maybe still starting to come together here for ATOX. TYLOO just froze for a little too long and allowed ATOX the chance to reset, but Mosey will not get it done in the 1v3, and ATOX will get their third.
Good shutdown of the A ramp pressure there for TYLOO. Picking up a couple of rifles, making their life difficult when they try to pivot back to mid. Don't mind it from ATOX, but it is a bit of a scissors paper rock round, to be honest. KABAL can't make it out mid there. Ooh, mid pressure into the palace lurk timing. Nuka, if you can defend this, I'll give you a gold star, mate.
Okay. Well, it was a brief moment of hope for ATOX, wasn't it? But hasn't lasted very long. Yami and Flynn will be looking for the retake, but there's not really much of a retake to be had. They don't have anything to really work with. It's Yami solo. All bout. And if he was Modesty, I might believe. But he's not. And there's G to finish it off. 9-3 is the scoreline at the end of the first half. Right, so back into the second half here between TYLOO and ATOX, and if ATOX want to avoid a matchup tomorrow against Vision and go straight into the grand final, they are going to have some coming back to do in this series, let alone this map. They dropped the first map, now they're down 9-3 on map number 2, and this pistol round looks like it's going to run right into the dualies setup here from G. He doesn't mess around with it either. Himself that opening kill onto MIQ before being traded back. KABAL, surprisingly, for a double. Hasn't been the greatest of nights for him, but with the pistol getting it done, Yami's able to cross. Jamyoung waiting for him behind the smoke, though, was not expected, and Jamyoung continues his good night on the pistol round as well. This is looking like it's going to be 10-3, and KABAL scurrying away for some reason.
Oh, hold on. What is that drive-by? Onto Mosey. USP picked up. Now his options are open to them. The world is his oyster, Jordan. He fakes the footsteps away. Back to A ramp. Here we'll see him on the jump spot, though. Over from Ticket, he's playing things pretty safe. Jamyoung is spotting top middle. Only 35 seconds on the clock. Bomb drop bottom stairs. And the jig is up. Mercury's seen him. Jamyoung's going to float across the stairs. Mercury's B-hopping around backwards. And they're just waiting for him to pick up the bomb. They know he does not have much time here. 15 seconds on the clock. He's going to clear out Balk, but he's not even trying to win the round. He's just really going for exits at this point, isn't he?
Get a bit of extra cash. Oh, well.
Oh,
he actually hit Jamyoung.
Yeah, and Mercury had to put a bullet in him. Could have ran out of time there. That was two pretty insane shots from KABAL, though. That shot on ramp and the shot connector.
Yep.
Man's turned it on.
I think that's worth an NT, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he was never going to win was the problem, but, like, the shots were nice. That's more of an NS than an NT, if you ask me.
Sure.
Is that fair?
I think I can get behind that.
Well, Flynn's dropped Yami and Khalil again, and we force bought. Yami said, I don't really want to buy grenades, because then I'll have to throw them. Flynn's gone out mid. There we go, Yami. He's getting into the game. It's much needed for ATOX. They're pretty far behind, but look, their T-side of nature was pretty good, Jordan.
Yep. Yeah, let's not fight it off just yet. Yami, though, would need to continue to put in the good work with that Khalil, and unfortunately he has been brought to heel. It ends up being a decent little run from him. 2 kills with that Khalil. Jamyoung's position should be too good. KABAL was not expecting that one, and the bomb will be dropped. Smoked off now as well. IQ making a lot of noise. Jamyoung's not sure where to stand. He doesn't want to get spammed. Looks like he's going to be all good, and they're going to go charging through the smoke. There wasn't too many other options, to be fair. Jamyoung makes it look easy. 11-3 now. ATOX on the save. Hero AK.
Yeah, I think the scoreline was a bit closer to what the expectation was in this series. Yami's going to buy himself an AK and armor, and they're going to force again. I mean, fair enough. Tech 9's an armor, a little bit of util. See what they can come up with. Yami's going to just dry peek into the middle, but not quite swing far enough to catch Starry on the jump up. He honestly could have. There's actually a lot of CTs here in middle, and Yami going to fall back towards the apps where ATOX are prepping an exit.
Jamyoung ready and waiting with the A1S in hand. Not even the A4, rather. Starry and Mercury, the ones that are actually coming into play. I'm really wanting to see Jamyoung do something,
He hasn't
but
seen anyone.
he's just baited me the whole time, and KABAL's gone straight through the smoke. They've gone past each other like ships in the night, and he didn't get a single kill.
Person as the Bianca. He just hid in the back of the site while the rotators killed everyone. Oh, what a tease.
Just how it be.
Yeah. Unfortunate for ATOX. I just don't know what they can really do with this situation that they've ended up in here. Like, it was one thing online, and they beat Lane Vision online, but can they replicate that on land? Because, yeah, TYLOO, I don't even care. Like, even without the stand-ins, no one was beating TYLOO at this land as far as I was concerned.
Well, they're putting their right foot forward to start things off. Although it is against a rather embattled ATOX roster at the moment. Sad to see, really, because I felt like this ATOX roster could have really been something, but I'm not sure. The future is looking somewhat murky. Either way, we have that hope now for TYLOO, even though they didn't make it to the RMR. I think many would consider them the #1 team in China.
Victory lap being performed here by TYLOO. Picking apart ATOX as they wander one by one through different parts of the map. Underpass, middle, big apps. There's just no inroads into this round. Everything just seems a little disjointed. Finally an entry for MIQ, but don't know if that's going to be enough to turn their fortunes around.
Yeah, KABAL's not been having a terrible map either. Mosey will be the first point of contact for Mr. KABAL. Unless Mercury gets there first. There's a player creeping up the ladder room now as well. So that's
hold on.
a little bit interesting.
Oh. KABAL, a lot of damage onto him.
Yeah, Starry setting himself up on short.
Somehow they've got into a winnable afterplan.
Oh, good damage onto Starry now as well. So Mosey tagged up, Starry tagged up, Chi waiting patiently for a kill with the AWP. Doesn't land the killing blow, gets the shot across, wants the AK instead, wants to lead the charge, but time is of the essence now. And MIQ going to peek, give up the slight advantage that they may have had. KABAL's going to have to get it done on his own. They haven't checked bench. They've got to get on the defuse. They know where he is. The defuse is on. The coverage is there. Oh my word. Just in time, they're going to get it done. 13-3. A good little recovery mission there from TYLOO, because that was a bit too close for comfort. But look, either way, I think we knew that the result was going to be a TYLOO victory in the end. And there it is, 2-0. A comfortable one over ATOX tonight.
Yeah, well done from TYLOO tonight. I think 3 pretty clean halves there. The first half, ancient.